Today's musing is brought directly to you from my yoga mat. And what was stirring inside of me today, I have committed to complete beginner student in every area of my life. I like to do this every couple of years because I seem to pick up the role of space holder, guide, teacher, facilitator in a lot of my life areas. So I like to completely drop that when I feel like my self concept is circling that too deeply. And on my mat this afternoon, I was pondering what it means to be in direct relationship with life as someone who experiences the world with a lot of deep sensitivity, with um, with psychic senses that are open and active. And this was courtesy of the beautiful soul next to me who sighed very, very loudly, very orgasmically, in a very deep release way for the entire hour and 15 minutes of our yoga class. And whilst I welcome open expression wholeheartedly, this was very distracting to my own practice. About 45 minutes in, I thought, is this going to reach an end point? Is she going to stop doing that? She didn't. Even through Shavasana, there was deep, loud, audible, orgasmic sighs right beside me. And what a teacher to have for the afternoon, right next to me as well. It can feel very uncomfortable for us to be in direct relationship with life, especially when we have, for everyone really, to be completely wakeful and present to the full spectrum of what humanity offers at this time, particularly in the Western world where there's been such a fracture from the spirit. It's disturbing sometimes. So how can we soften this disturbance inside of ourselves? How can we relate to life in a way that lights us up, that isn't inhibiting us from experience? How does the organism respond and react to discomfort when you are in the moment, when you are in direct relationship to life? We probably have some semblance of, from past experience around what our patterns are: fight or flight, or fawn or freeze, or some combination of those beautiful protective mechanisms that are desiring to keep us safe, to keep us feeling okay and sane inside of our bodies. How is the organism moving and relating to life when these deeply unpleasant situations arise? I can speak to my personal experience, and I would say self-isolation has been the main expression for myself. I find that when I'm alone with Source, particularly in wild nature, I've been forced to develop a relationship with the spirit world that is so strong, so clear, so supportive, that I often have little desire to um, move back into the physical world. So for me, I'm often shoved out of my nest through situations in order to actualize what my soul came here to do in my waking life. I would very happily sit in some pristine wild nature for the rest of my days in this body, and just commune with Source. um, yeah, I could very easily do that. So for me, the original imprint was self-isolation. The lone wolf phase for me has been very long and at times dipped into a numbing expression of the being, maybe like a light depression without the desire to end my life. I love my life, but definitely a deep numbness, freezing, fawning experience. So, working with that pattern over the years to understand, unravel, and come into a healthy relationship with life, with myself, and with the expression of life that wants to genuinely move through the moment. Because when we're constricting or pushing away or desiring only very strict certain circumstances, energies, frequencies into our experience, we are kind of fracturing the totality of what wants to express. Now, this isn't to say that we should accept poor energy, poor behaviors, or expressions of behavior if we are feeling violation in any way, physical, psychic, emotional. It's definitely the body will let us know, and ask things to reorchestrate, to move differently around our being. But I've also found that we can become intolerant to the imperfection of humanity. We can become resistant and out of touch with the innate flow of life's divine grace when we are charging our experience with an expectation. So I wonder how you dance with the innate flow of life, what moves through your being in uncomfortable moments, and the expression of divinity that is being offered to you, to us, through the mundane human experiences, through the irks, through the icks, through the yeah, the full spectrum of being human. And although we are rewriting the script around what that means right now collectively, there needs to be some coherence within our nervous system around our current relationship to life. So finding what irks us, what icks us, what makes us squirm, what is a non-negotiable for ourselves, is supporting us in creating new realities in environments, in community, where we are elevating the collective consciousness of life in general. The frequency and the experience of the cycles of nature is shifting. We can be in relationship with, say, for example, something that is very pushed away in westernized societies traditionally is death, dying, decay, the winter months, disgust. Those emotions have been kind of pulled out of our everyday experience, removed, pushed away, discarded. And in the process of that, we aren't in relationship with those things in a way that is creating harmony for our spirit. If we look at the way that more indigenous, connected cultures and energies related to the earth, to death, to dying, the relationship there is vastly different. For example, I know that Maoris, native New Zealand indigenous populations, when somebody dies in the family, the whole community will stay with the body for a few days. They sleep around the body, they grieve with the body, and the process of death is related to in a completely different way, um, compared to Western society. You know, a lot of times the body of the loved one isn't even seen by the family. The coffin is placed in the earth or they're burnt in a fire, and there's this distortion of the grief, of the sadness. Collectively, I'm speaking to the matrix grid. So this is just an example of ways that we are shifting the grids and the templates around our relationship to life. There is no life without death. There is no one season of life. So I'm not trying to say that in creating new realities that we distort um, the fact of moving in and out of our physical vessels. This body, these cells one day will likely die, will die. We know from history, from what's happened to those around us, that our cells have an expiration date at this point in humanity's trajectory. So, yeah, what happens when we decide to look at our relationship to life internally with ourselves, but also collectively, especially in conscious spaces, in conscious communities? How are we shifting the needle through our own experience and direct experience to life? And there's a myriad of things we could discuss around this. But if you are a sensitive being and you have experienced deep discomfort or withdrawal, isolation because of your heightened extrasensory perceptions, I see you and I see that pain point. And yeah, please reach out, maybe just to chat, or um, maybe, yeah, for some other reason. But yeah, my heart is with you today, and I see you, and keep beating the drum of the new. We are doing it. We are assembling light grids, and peace and blessings to you.